Sunday school teacher, thank you for taking the time to prepare for this coming Sunday. Thank you for all you do in teaching God's Word. We're going to be looking at the lesson for Sunday, January the 26th. The title of this lesson is Honored. We're going to be in Deuteronomy chapter 4. We're going to be looking at the first 9 verses. And the point of this lesson is that God is honored when His people listen to, follow, and teach His Word. That's right. God is honored. God is pleased when we do what we're talking about right here, teaching His Word. We're going to be in Deuteronomy chapter 4. Get your outline, get your pen, get ready to take some notes, and let's look at these verses. Well, I've got you some background ideas here, some thoughts. Prior to his death, Moses desired to deliver parting words of covenant instruction and pastoral exhortation. Remember that Deuteronomy is basically Moses' last sermons to his people. Here he summarized the nation's successes and their failures in their journey to the Promised Land. But again, disobedience summarized or characterized most of their past history. After presenting this historical sketch, Moses reminded this new generation of Israelites of their special privileges as recipients of God's grace through His covenant with them. And so from chapter 1 to chapter 3, he's telling the history and telling them what it is that they are about. So he's giving them the history lesson. And he admonished the people to honor the Lord by following all that God had revealed to them, and they must also pass those teachings on to the next generation. So let's look at these. Chapter 4, verses 1 through 5. And there we see that we are to listen. He says, "Now, Israel, listen to the statutes and the ordinances I am teaching you to follow, so that you may live, enter, and take possession of the land the Lord, the God of your fathers, is giving you. You must not add anything to what I command you or take any away from it, so that you may be able to keep the commands of the Lord your God I am giving to you. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did at Baal Peor, for the Lord your God destroyed every one of you who followed Baal of Peor. But you who have remained faithful to the Lord your God are alive today." In verse 5, "Look, I have taught you statutes and ordinances as the Lord my God has commanded me, so that you may be able to follow them in the land you are about to enter and possess." So here we see Moses saying to the people, listen. Moses introduced this segment of his message with a call to obedience. We see that in verse 1. Basically, what you need to understand is that they're having class right here. I mean, he's teaching. He's in Sunday school class. He's giving them a lesson. Moses gives his objectives. He says, here's why I'm doing what I'm doing. The reason that he was doing it, for them to live and to enter and to possess the Promised Land. And if they failed to keep the commands, that wasn't going to happen. In verse 2, Moses stressed the divine origin of the covenant and tells the people not to add or subtract to the Lord's directives. This is not something that they've come up with or something that Moses came up with. It's what God did, and God chose them. And then he talks about something that happened